Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. It's your host, Brent Bilski, a.k.a. Double B, a.k.a. the 110 Soldier. Got a lot to get into, as always. Going to talk some LeBron James Olympic basketball. Going to talk about fantasy football again. You guys help me out with that. I want to give you a little thanks and a little thing at the end of the show. Also, going to talk Russell Wilson. The Hard Knock show was on last night, so a lot of good stuff. But let's kick things off with what is still the biggest story going on, the Olympics. Ooh. Yeah. They're still getting it on, by the way. I just want to continue to point out that Olympians are having sex like rabid dogs, and I'm all for it. Once again, it's a sex fest, according to everybody that's been asked about it. This is a common, people now are starting to figure out all this is happening. But yeah, Tinder's up 25%, 43% of the new 25% that are entered all list themselves as an athlete on their profile. Some girl from the 3-on-3 basketball team said it's like a Love Island vibe, which is some stupid show that I'm not into, but everybody around me talks about. Apparently, they all have a lot of sex. They now started monitoring the laundry room. I thought this was the only new caveat to it. Apparently, the laundry rooms used to be where they did a lot of, they're cleaning their pipes, so to speak. But they've kept an eye on that, so now they've moved out again to, there's a place under an underpass, she said. There's under bridges and freeways. They're just all over the place. They're just...
Anywhere I want. I'll on these walls. I'll on the cabinets, on the furniture. I'm everywhere.
Out in public, just doing their thing, especially after you lose. Why not? Who the hell cares? And they also said, by the way, the cardboard beds. A lot of people said they tried to dissuade them with cardboard beds. According to reports, they've already tested those out, and you can still do your thing. You just have to be a little careful. These are Olympians, for Christ's sake. They know how to balance. But to get into the bigger stories, and actually that's going to be pun intended here in a second, let's pop to the first picture here, Corey. The Olympics are a game of inches. I mean, we're going to talk Simone Biles, Noah Lyles, and Anthony Ammirati. But man, just in case you haven't ever seen one of the best movies of all time, football-wise, Any Given Sunday, life, the Olympics, it's all a game of inches, man.
You find out life's this game of inches.
It really is. It's that close. I mean, the difference between a medal or no medal is truly a game of inches. When you get to the top 0.001% that Olympians are all competing in this one opportunity that we're all giving it their best, the margin is so small for error. It is absolutely bananas, whether it's winning the 100 meters by a clavicle, whether it's, being able to dunk a basketball at 4'8", whether it's able to win or not win a pole vault, depending on how big your you-know-what is.
The most well-endowed.
It's all this close, man. It's just bananas how close it is. So yes, life and the Olympics are a game of inches. That's my first story. And we're going to start off with probably my favorite story so far. Let's go to the next picture, Corey. My man, Anthony Ammirati, the pole vaulter from France who had his medal stifled because of his own Eiffel Tower.
Penis so big penis.
It's just, I'm sorry, this is too goddamn funny to me. And I don't care what anyone says, this dude left a legend. He didn't come out with a medal, but he left a legend. And yes, I'm calling it the French Erection in case y'all never seen the French Connection, Gene Hackman movie in the 70s. I'm being very clever in case you didn't realize it. But let me get into exactly what happened again in case you missed it. I don't know how most of you did because this dude went viral. He's a sensation. Anthony Ammirati, a 21-year-old French pole vaulter, was trying to clear 5.7 meters and, made the internet go nuts because, well, we'll just show you the video here. I'm going to keep Corey busy here to start things off. Let's go ahead and cut right to it. He's, again, 21-year-old Frenchman on his third attempt. His ding-dong got in the way. He cleared the pole. Now they did say, though, because his knees hit, that it wouldn't have counted anyways, but everyone saw this clip. And again, because of this, he did not make the medal round, ended up in just 15th place. But you can clearly see that big old croissant of his takes the bar out. And yeah, man, he was stifled by his Eiffel, if you know what I'm saying.
Penis so big penis.
And because of that, again, he wasn't able to make the medal round, and everyone was talking about him, only got 15th place. But again, he would not have cleared it anyways. That was one thing I did not know until I looked into the story, that because his knees hit, I thought you had to knock the pole off, but apparently even if your knees make contact, he would have been disqualified in the first place. But it really doesn't matter because in the end, the dude is now a legend. And again, at 15th place, I'm watching, of course, like everyone else, I'm laughing, I'm impressed. My girlfriend and some others had questions of was it actually, the big piece? Was it the things underneath? Like what actually made the contact? All I know is there was enough down there to do something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody can say, I lost an Olympic gold medal because I had too much of a bulge in my pants.
Penis so big. So big penis.
So he was very disappointed, obviously, and he was upset afterwards. But after he went viral and the whole thing, like I've always said with the stories of Will C and everything else, I'm going to keep you busy again, Corey. Hit this picture for me. It made me think of The Sandlot because it reminded me of the phrase, Anthony Ammirati, while you may be sad. Like they say in The Sandlot, a hero gets remembered, but a legend never dies. I'm going to ask y'all right now, everybody listening, who actually won gold medal in the pole vault this year? Got no clue, do you? It was some Swedish guy. It's besides the point. Who's the greatest pole vaulter of all time? I have no idea, and I talk about sports every day, all day for the last decade. My point being is that who gives a damn about who won gold, who won bronze, who won silver? This dude is going to be a legend for the rest of his life. Him and his big French eggplant. By the way, right after it was done, his Instagram followers went up from, 8,000 to 250,000 followers within a week. And if only half of those are women, we know exactly what's going on. All of them are trying to get a lot of that, ooh la la, and their je ne sais quoi, if you know what I'm saying. Would love to read his DMs right now. But again, a hero gets remembered, but a legend never dies. He's now been offered $250,000 from a porn site. I mean, who cares about whether, again, I'm never going to remember 2-3 years from now, hell, 2-3 minutes from now, nobody remembered who actually won the gold medal. Nobody ever has cared in the history of everdom about pole vaulters. I can't name you one, but I can name you him. 5-10 years from now, I'm going to be able to name you Anthony Ammirati, and if I can't give you the name and you talk about pole vaulting, first thing's going to pop in my head is going to be like, oh yeah, the dude with the big thingy that knocked his pole into the pole and he ended up losing the round because he had too much of it.
Penis so big. So big penis.
When life gives you lemons, make lemonade or make eggplant laid, if you know what I mean. But I mean, again, he went from 8K to 250,000 followers. He's getting offered all types of money. He's all sorts of famous. Any bar he walks into, I promise you there's going to be a lot of eyeballs going his way. And I can't say that for any other pole vaulter in the history of, of all time. Anthony Ammirati is now a legend. Congratulations. I mean, you didn't win a medal, but you won life. You won life. The guy's going to be a legend. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, who cares about 15th place when you get to just live forever? As for that, I mean, as a dude, I really, I hate to say it, I can't think. I can't think of a cooler, like, if I had the choice between, I won a gold medal, or I'm the only guy in history who's known because I had such a big old thing, I knocked my pole with my pole, and everybody, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's clearly, I'd much rather be that guy than... You know what I mean? Yeah. 250,000 followers from 8,000 followers. And besides the money, again, you know what these girls are coming in with. Yeah, you know what they're hunting for. They're trying to get some of that je ne sais quoi, that croissant. So I thought that was fun. Moving on. From legends to, this is another legend. Let me shout out Noah Lyles. I talked about him a couple weeks ago saying, like, let's see what he does because he's been talking all that shit. Well, it turns out Noah Lyles did actually get the gold medal.
I love gold.
And it was bananas how close it was. It is the closest race in Olympic history, at least for the last 25 years in the 100-meter dash. And the only reason we don't know more is because we've never been able to break it down to this small amount of time. But if we can pop this video up, Noah Lyles got the gold medal in the 100-meter dash. Shout out to Noah Lyles there. In the closest ever in recorded history. Hit it for me here, Corey. The fastest man in the world now officially Saturday got his personal best. He ran a 9.784. He beat the Jamaican favorite Kashane Thompson, and he only did it by 0.005 seconds. This thing was so close, the announcer got it wrong. Like right now, the announcer, I won't play it for copyright reasons, but he's like, oh my God, Kashane Thompson, he won the 100-meter dash. Jamaica wins, Jamaica wins. Even Noah's coming up to him like, hey, bro, congratulations, I think you got it. And then they go to the replay and Noah's celebrating, and this is why, as you watch, as they're going to cut to this photo finish, 0.005. As you can see by the red line, it's not when your foot crosses, it's when your torso crosses, and he beat him by a clavicle. Literally by a clavicle. Like he even said, apparently his own biochemist, some dude named Ralph Mann, told him that first and second, I truly believe, is going to be this close. It is a game of inches.
One half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it.
Love this movie.
The inches we need are everywhere
I mean,
around us.
it really is true, though. I mean, that's bananas. So now he's the first American to win the gold medal since Justin Gatlin in 2004. And again, to give you just how small of a number 0.005 seconds is, again, they've never been able to record this before, but it is so quick, 0.005 seconds. An average eye blink is anywhere from 0.1 to 0.4 seconds, so let's just say 0.2. That means that is 40 times faster. The blink of an eye is 40 times faster than what Noah Lyles won the 100-meter dash by. And I mean, that poor Jamaican dude, Thompson, because I mean, god dang it, he actually got his foot across. Noah got his chest across, but I mean, that's just, whew. I mean, that's inches for you right there. That's, that's more than the French dude even had, a couple extra inches. I mean, that wasn't even that much. I mean, 0.005, that's just bananas. So, congratulations to Noah. Again, congratulations. He now gets to talk his smack and say, I wanted to be the fastest man in the world. He still didn't beat Usain Bolt. He said he was going to beat Usain, but a lot of people didn't even expect him to do it because he's actually still better at the 200 meters. Matter of fact, as of today, I believe they said that he is qualified and he should get gold there as well. The 100 was kind of his side chick. That was just a side piece. So everyone thought the Jamaican kid was going to get it. So the fact he was able to do it is very, very impressive. So again, shout out. Noah, you did it. You're the fastest man in the world. You backed up your shit talk, and I've always been a fan of that. As long as you talk your shit and back it up, I'm all here for you.
I love gold.
He had to throw in some Noah stuff that just makes Noah Noah, though, as afterwards, hit this picture here for me, Corey. He was going to Twitter, and I'm so glad that I wasn't alone in this because I think this was supposed to be like this beautiful, inspirational thing. And so he said, I have asthma, allergies, dyslexia, ADD, anxiety, and depression, but I will tell you that what you have does not define what you become, so why not you? Great, except I'm looking at some of those and I went like, but it's running. But it's track. And thank God for the internet because the commenters, these are all the top four. As soon as I read them, I was like, okay, I'm not alone. As one guy said, the top commented liked one was we didn't ask button. The second dude, what do allergies and ADD have to do with track? The other guy said bro named a whole bunch of regular conditions. And the other one that was my favorite, get this man some Claritin. I mean, look, again, depression, anxiety, I get all that. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to like Noah. I'm rooting for him. He's American. He wins. He wasn't expected to. I want to be on his side. And he's like, yeah, I overcame, allergies and ADD. And I'm like, well, you're running. Like, dyslexia, like what do you need to read? Go that way straight as fast as you can. I'm sure there's probably some complications involved, and I don't want to sound like a complete dick, but at least the internet backed me up on this where I was like, all right, anxiety and depression. I mean, he just needed someone to edit that. Take out 3 of those because I don't know how many people are going to, you're going to be at like a hospital doing a Make-A-Wish thing like, hey, kid, just so you know, I know you're going through a hard time, but I also overcame, allergies when I was running track, and I just don't know if that kid's going to be like, oh, wow, that's really... That's man, how did you do it? But he won, and he's now the fastest man in the world. He said he was going to do it, and he did it. So everyone else like me, as much as I'm talking and having a little fun with him, the internet's having fun with him, you're the fastest one. You did it. No one thought you would. Congratulations. We can all eat it.
Everyone can eat shit. A big bag of shit.
You got it done. Speaking of getting it done, I want to stay in the Olympics and stay on the inches thing, but this is kind of a side topic. Simone Biles is now done at 27. Now, she might return to the next Olympics, but as usual, oops, I'm losing my notes here. Simone did her thing, and she got 4 more medals. She ended up only getting silver in the last ones, which was kind of a disappointment. She ended up getting the silver in the floor exercise, which is technically her best exercise. Oh, man, I'm having all sorts of problems on my papers here. And she was also able to get no medals in the beam, but the beam was kind of her weak spot. But, I mean, she's still the GOAT now, undisputed. She came back from her whole thing in Tokyo a few years ago when she had the whole mental health thing and was able to show some toughness and some grit. Kept that Brazilian girl off her rear end long enough to get 3 more gold medals, another silver. That's now 4 more total, which means she has 11 total Olympic medals, which is the number 1 now for any United States gymnast of all time. There was some Russian girl or somewhere like that in the 60s that has more medals than her, but let's face it, Simone Biles is now undisputed, the all-time GOAT of gymnastics. So congratulations, Simone. It's not even an argument. There are a few people that are undisputed in their sports, and I think now, you can just look after what Simone was able to overcome and come back from and continue to do at 27, which is freaking ancient for a gymnast. Most of these girls are like 16, 17 years old. And for her to still be able to dominate in the fashion that she did is truly inspirational and truly cool. But there was a more interesting question to me that I thought was a little bit more something in my wheelhouse here. Can Simone Biles dunk?
Simple question.
Everyone was asking the question, do we think that little 4'8" Simone Biles could dunk a basketball? And I really broke it down for you because I heard a lot of people talk about it, but no one really gave you a definitive answer. They kind of gave you some hypotheticals and this and some pictures. So I was able to put it all together for you in one simple little video. And I know, Corey, I'm keeping you busy, but we're going to go to this video here now. So at 4'8", could Simone Biles dunk? Yes. Now, what she would have to do, if we can go ahead and hit play, is she's going to have to use this first move. This is her signature move she uses on her floor exercise. It's actually called the Biles 2 because she's got 6 signature moves because she's an animal. But, I mean, if you stop, so it's going to stop right here. So when she's at the peak of that height, she is at 12 feet high. Victor Wembanyama is staring up at her. That's how high she gets in the air. So now that she has the height and she's facing the right direction, the only second part she needs is to be able to have an alley-oop thrown to her, because obviously she can't be able to do it with her own basketball. But if someone throws it to her at 10'6", as you see with that rim right there at 12 feet, and by the way, those floors are not bouncy. I looked that up. They're actually not that springy. This is actually, she would be able to do this on hardwood as well. With about 1.5 feet falling from 12 feet to 10.6, where she would need to have the rim at, she would have about 0.50 to 100 milliseconds to get it done. But anyway, she could catch the ball and do it. So could she get it done? Yes, with a lot of hypotheticals. She'd have to do that first move that she did, the Biles second. She would have to have somebody throw it to her properly in the air at 10'6", right at the time she's falling down from her 12-foot arch. And then she would have to have, like, again, 50 to 100 milliseconds to catch the ball and put it in. But if she was able to practice all that and put it all together, abso-freaking-lutely, you'd have to throw an alley-oop to do it, but Simone Biles could dunk, which is just, again, she is 4'8". She is 4'8". That is, that really is, dude, 12 feet in the air. And I thought that they were, 12 feet's impressive, but they're on those, those gymnast floors. She's obviously getting a boost. No, apparently not. Apparently, all those are for is shock absorption. That's all they're actually there to do. They're not there to actually give you a boost. I was reading and talking to gymnasts, and they said maybe 5%. So she easily clears up to 12 feet with her, eyes and hands facing the basket. All you got to do is give her a nice little pass, get, white chocolate or Steve Nash or somebody, throw her a nice lob, and she's able to put it down at 4'8". So she can do that. She can win gold. She can overcome mental health problems. She can, bow to the Brazilian girl, and I thought was a nice, classy move. She just inspires a lot of people. She came from, not the easiest of starts to become the greatest of all time. I love Simone Biles. I think the rest of America does. She really is still America's sweetheart. I was glad to see her perform well. And even though, even she herself, after she didn't get the gold and the floor and stuff, you could tell even she was like, dude, it would have been nice, but let's face it, I run this shit. This is my sport. I didn't go home with all the golds. Boo freaking who. So congratulations to Simone, the gold medalist, and is also somebody that could dunk at 4'8", which I've never seen anybody be able to do ever in the history of ever. So, congratulations to her. Moving on to basketball. Truly basketball. Talk about LeBron James. Look, it's hard. Put the picture up here, Corey. It's hard for me not to get frustrated.
Frustrating.
It's hard for me not to get frustrated because at 39 years old, I should just be like, isn't this awesome? He's the best player on the court, and he really is. LeBron, at 39 years old right now, going on 40, is the best player in the world. If you're watching Olympic basketball, he is clearly the leader of Team USA Olympic men's basketball, and he is clearly still one of the best players in the entire world at 39 years old. And I broke this down before, but I'm going to do it again because it just doesn't make sense that he didn't do more 10 years ago when he was in his absolute prime, and it pisses me off, and I can't let it go. He should have done more. He really should have. And I know this is a personal bitch and beef of mine, but it's almost like, Spider-Man, great power, great responsibility. He just never had it, man. He just never had that same level of anger or frustration that the Jordans and Kobe's and Birds and Magics of, like, I'm going to show y'all, I'm going to use all my talent. Like, he never maximized his talent, and it's just, He really should have been the undisputed GOAT. He should have had a run where LeBron James should have been the best we've ever seen, period, end of story, hands down. And I'm sorry, other than LeBron's fan base, if you ask anybody else who's not a fan of LeBron James as their number one, and they have anybody not named LeBron as their number one player, almost 99% of them, you ask who's the GOAT, they're going to say like MJ or somebody else. They're not going to say LeBron. Most people outside of the fan base that just sucks at his teat really, understands that he probably should have been. He's the most talented, but it just never really happened for him. But I mean, he is leading Team USA. Well, let's go to the video here. LeBron is leading Team USA here for me, Corey. If you can go ahead and pop to that. If you can go here, this is actually just the last Brazilian game got busted up in the eye, but hit it for me. I mean, and Team USA is going to win gold. And LeBron is leading the way at 39 years old. They're 9-0 this year. They're looking for their 5th straight gold. They just spanked Brazil 122-87. The only other real threat, Canada, is out. Canada actually was ousted by Wemby and the French, and so Serbia's up next for America. But we've won all 4 of our Olympic games so far by 15-plus points, and they're all taking LeBron's lead, who's been an absolute animal. Just the last game, before he got his eye busted, had 9 assists in 12 minutes. The team itself had 18 assists in their first 19 baskets made. They're taking after him, and you can see it on the court. They're following his lead. I mean, even statistically, 10 players are averaging 7 points, but no players are averaging more than 10. So, I mean, it is truly a team effort following this kind of, all for one for all, let's all be completely unselfish style. And that's coming from the head of the snake. Most teams will follow the head of the snake. That is clearly a LeBron James-ish style offense and what he would desire. Because LeBron just, for whatever reason, never wanted to be the alpha and stand out and be the one with all the pressure on him the way the other GOATs behind him did. And so you're seeing USA take that. That actually probably works in an Olympics. And again, they're going to win the gold medals, shocking, despite a shocking upset with Canada being gone. We should be able to take France or Serbia, anybody else who comes out of there. But again, seeing him do it, and I'm like, it's great. And as you saw from the highlights, it's phenomenal. He's 39. He's in his 21st season with young bucks going against the most competitive, people in the world right now who are playing for their country, and he's still the best player. And so part of me wants to go like, wow, that's great, and that's a cool story. And the other part of me goes, dude, where the F was this, this level of attitude and anger, or at least this kind of... Do you get where I'm going? And I got a graph to point this out, and so I'm keeping you busy there, my man. But I mean, like I've always said, LeBron's legacy will be his longevity, and I've always said that from day one. LeBron's legacy will always be that he was very good for an extended amount of time, and he had sustained greatness. For 21 years, if you add career stats, LeBron is arguably a GOAT. He has the most career points of anybody ever in the NBA. He has the 4th most career assist of anybody in the NBA. He has 4 MVPs, one of the tops all time in MVPs, 4 titles, which is again up there, and 20 All-Star appearances. Yet, he never led the league in scoring except for one time. He never led the league in assist. He was only 3rd overall in MVPs of all time accumulated. He's never won a Defensive Player of the Year. He's won 4 titles, but he's lost 6. It's like boxing. When I remember like Klitschko, he had like 4,300 days as heavyweight champion, or Lennox Lewis when I think he's 4th all time at 3,000. Like, no one wanted to watch them because you would watch them and go, yeah, they're really good, but they're clearly not Ali. They're not Tyson. You know what I mean? They're not, just because somebody else maybe didn't have it for as long of a reign, I would still take their shorter reign and watch their greatness in that condensed version more than the extended. And that's what I see with LeBron. I saw a dude who was always at least 80 to 90% of what he was for a extended amount of time, so therefore he's got great career stats, but he never maxed it out, and it just bothers me. And I mean, I'm sorry, the undisputed GOAT really should have had one of these. He should have had the season, for at least from 2006 to like 2010 or 2009, I believe, when he was with the Cavaliers and he was young and he really had no help. This is why I got this graph up, and it's kind of complicated, and I'm going to, get into it and break down all the numbers here. But this is kind of what I'm trying to point out. So at the height of his powers, before he was a Hedo, before he had other help, LeBron James' 3 best seasons, you can see in the middle, are in white. He had 31 points per game, 7-7, 30 points per game, 8-7, 30 points per game, 7-9. Those are all, look, Great years. Those are unbelievable for a lot of people. But for the most talented player at 6'8", 250, not missing a physical gift in the world, intelligence, IQ, work ethic, had it all put together, the only thing that he missed was just, I don't know, man, this kind of need the other greats did to prove a point. These other guys should not have had seasons that compare to him. I mean, again, look at Jokic, the big, fat, slow, clearly, I don't practice, I don't give shit. He had 27, 14, and 8 one year in 2022. Larry Bird, who most people will laugh at you and say, oh, Larry Bird was never even close to LeBron. Really? Well, in 1985, he had 26, 10, and 7. Russell Westbrook, who is right now serving and trying to get you believe he just got his minimum contract as he got traded to Denver on like his 5th team. Once upon a time, averaged a triple-double, 31.6, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. That was only 6, 7 years ago. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a great player, but I don't think anybody puts him above LeBron in the all-time rankings, yet he had a season where he had 30, 14, and 6 not that long ago. And Michael Jordan, I don't even know what to say. Y'all love to try to compare him to MJ. I mean, besides the fact that he has the 6-0 titles to his 4 and 6 in the finals, which
the only argument I need, Sean.
let's go by what the overall dominance Michael Jordan from game to game to game was able to do. Look at this shit. One year he had 35, 6 and 6 in 1988, and the year before that, 1987, Michael Jordan averaged 37 points per game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. In that year, he was the most valuable player. He was the defensive player of the year. He was number 1 in the leagues in scoring. He was number 1 in the league in steals. He won the All-Star MVP to go with his regular season MVP, and he won the Slam Dunk contest because, I don't know, he just freaking felt like it. Michael was obviously the king of trying to prove a point, but, I mean, look, he was shorter than LeBron. He was not as strong as LeBron. I would argue athleticism was about a tie. Jump shot, I mean, from three-point land, statistically, LeBron had a better three-point shot. So it just pisses me off. And I'm not trying to hate. It's like when you have a child who's a genius and they only get C's, and you're just like, just do more.
Frustrating.
Stop being such a 90%er. I mean, at one point in time, he really should have seen him at 39 years old being still the best player in the world. When he was in his prime, he should have been able to take from all of those and have one of those seasons combined, where he averaged 35 points per game, at least 12 rebounds and 11 assists. He should have done something historic, and he never did. And all this does when I watch him do well now is kind of frustrate me and remind me of what he could have been, and he never really was, and how he's not an undisputed GOAT like the true undisputed GOATs that we have out there, the Bradys, the Alis. It's a short list. Gretzky, Phelps, Usain Bolt. There's certain sports where it's undisputed. LeBron is far from undisputed, and it just sucks because there's no reason that he shouldn't have been. He was taller, faster than MJ, better shooter, clearly more athletic than almost anybody else on that roster. The most it still gets me fired up. And I know, Corey, he's off. He doesn't want to hear me bitch about LeBron for the 900th time. But it's just reminders. This is how you remind me. He'll never retire, though, as long as his kid's still in the league, is one of the AI bits. This is just for fun, and then I'm going to switch into an entirely new sport and subject here. Pop this up for me here. AI, got to love AI out there. This is LeBron James, a.k.a. the Nature Boy. Hit this for me. When's he going to retire?
That I will never retire.
Woo!
I will only retire when I'm dead in this ring.
Wow. How about that announcement?
Over my dead body. I've got too much juice left. Woo! I'm still an itch boy. I love this business. I'm going nowhere.
It's bananas AI is able to do all that. And even more crazy to think that the whole face swap thing, in case, I don't know if anyone doesn't know this, actually started from porn. Apparently, the nerds 5-6 years ago wanted to put, Scarlett Johansson or Emma Watson into more risque scenes. Next thing you know, they worked on technology that was able to put their face on the porn star's body, and now we have all the face swaps and things that eventually are probably going to lead to people being accused of crimes they didn't commit and God knows what else. But in the meantime, it's fun, and I thought that was funny having LeBron, never retire, being Ric Flair, doing the strut. Moving on. Football. Let's get into football here. And I want to talk about the most interesting thing every time when football season starts. Everybody loves football season. I get it. We're all excited about it, too. We just had the Hall of Fame game. Preseason officially starts this weekend, and so it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to discuss. But for me, it's always the first thing I want to go to and discuss is the quarterbacks. And there are two quarterbacks I am extremely interested in that I want to talk about. So if we can cut to this next picture here for me. I want to focus on Russell Wilson and Caleb Williams. Corey, if you can hit the next one here for me there, brother. Like I said, I want to focus on Russell Wilson and Caleb Williams and, you know, the hard knock. It's a hard knock life. It's a hard knock life for quarterbacks. It really is. And I think Caleb, who's coming in this year, and Russell, who is at the end of his career and really having kind of a sad, which is not uncommon, ending there. It is the example of something I've always said about quarterbacks and being able to make people believe. And the reason I have the AI of Russell there in a suit is like, quarterbacks are kind of like a politician. And it's something that I truly believe. You know, a politician, you know, they're really not that different than any of the other ones. Like, I mean, honestly, once most politicians get into office, they don't do anything that's that much different than the other one. A politician's job truly is to be able to inspire and to relate and to make you believe and get, you know, at least most of the demographic in their side on the voting and you know, just kind of bring everybody together, unite them, inspire them to work hard and do all that, even though, let's be honest, most of them actually do all the same thing. A quarterback is really not that much different. Almost every quarterback that's ever played in the NFL can make all the throws. Matter of fact, most of the great quarterbacks were not able to make the throws the way some of the bust were. Some of the worst ones of all time actually went to the combines and the tryouts, and they were able to throw the longest, the fastest, the most accurate. But you put them on the field, and whether it was because they weren't able to, you know, read defenses or be able to process things in those moments, or it was really just more that the team just didn't back them the way they backed Montana, Brady, and some of the other ones. There's something different about that position. You're really more like a political figurehead, and you're like the face of the organization. To me, the same way a politician is. And so with that, you kind of have the same responsibilities of leading, of you kind of got to be able to bullshit your own teammates and make them buy into whatever system you're selling, even though it's probably not that different than the 900 that came before you. It's truly in that vein. I think it's very similar. And so it's a hard knock life in opposite ways. One for Russell Wilson, because, dude, he has forgotten everything he once knew about being a great leader and a great quarterback. You know, Russell Wilson, I remember when he came out, this is long before Sierra and everything else. You know, when he came out of college, it was truly one of my best moments. I remember this is, 2012, and I was just starting in talk radio, and I'm in Corpus, and I'm telling everybody that's listening, I'm going, this is the time that Andrew Luck, RG3, and Russell was drafted way later, and I'm screaming into a microphone to anybody that'll listen, Russell Wilson is going to be, arguably, when all said and done, the best quarterback out of this draft. People were calling and trying to literally try to convince my bosses I should be fired because I was new at the time, and I'm saying this, and they're like, this guy's a flipping idiot. How do you let him on the air? He shouldn't know sports, da-da-da-da. Well, lo and behold, I was right, so. I doubt anyone's listening from 12 years ago, but still, just in case, told you. But as I watched him go on, and I don't know when it happened, but somewhere along the way, Russell Wilson forgot how to be part of a locker room. He forgot how to lead, and he just became this just effing dork. I mean, Russell became somehow again, once upon a time, Russell Wilson was that dude. Y'all forget, Russell Wilson once upon a time was a 9-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, Walter Payton Man of the Year. He had the most wins ever in 9 seasons in consecutive. He was able to lead the NFL in passing touchdowns in 2017. 2019, Russell Wilson, that's not that long ago. That was like 3-4 years ago. Russell Wilson was voted the number 2 NFL player in the entire league. You know how they're doing now? Tyreek Hill just got number 1 just about 4 or 5 years ago. Russell Wilson was voted number 2. Once upon a time, he was a bad dude, and somehow, whether it was after the 2014 Super Bowl when he threw the interception and then Lynch said it was all a conspiracy against him and then half the team got divided, or it's the year later when he divorced his old wife and he met Sierra, somehow he slowly descended into this inability to lead, cringe as F dork who lost the locker rooms, he lost players' respect, and he became this kind of like this cartoon character. Russell Wilson, who I loved and respected, the more I watched him, I'm like, this dude is just like a weird cartoon version of what he thinks a leader should be. And it reminds me of like when a politician loses it. I guess to tie it all back to my earlier conversation. But I mean, other people have done these, but I'm gonna put this up here. This is the Russell Wilson cringe test. You can find all these online, and there's actually more videos that do this. But again, yeah, play it. This is Russell.
Everybody has to have an alter ego, right? And I've been thinking about what my alter ego would be, and I think I have an alter ego. His name's Mr. Unlimited. You got to be unlimited. You got to have a thought process of being unlimited. So when people ask you, what you're thinking about or what you want to do in life or where you want to go, you got to be unlimited. Tell them I'm unlimited. You know what I mean? So when they ask you certain questions like,
who brings you motivation, Russell?
Mr. Unlimited.
Who's your role model, Russell?
Unlimited.
Who's your go-to person for advice, Russell?
The girl in the
They think
background.
Pete Carroll, they think this person, think that person. Love you, Pete, but it's Mr. Unlimited.
Oh my God! And
Hey,
this Subway
wanna
commercial got taken
split
down,
the
by the
Subway
way, like
sandwich?
a week later.
It is my signature sandwich. It's called the Danger Witch, and it's dangerously good. Be careful though, it's spicy.
Ugh.
You ever done anything dangerous? Jeez, that is dangerous.
Oh my God!
I've done something like that too.
I won't tell anybody.
Oh,
Listen, one time, never mind. That's too dangerous.
he used to be my favorite player.
Anyways, my Danger Witch, it's only in the vault.
Yeah, they had to like ban that commercial because everyone was. But I mean, what a dork! He's a dork. I don't know how else to call it. The word dork is just have Russell in there with talking about his danger, which are being Mr. Unlimited. I mean, how is that supposed to lead a locker room? So, now he's having problems, although they did say in Pittsburgh that Tomlin said he is the starter so far, but that with Justin Fields creeping up, that he's right behind him, and because of Russell's got a calf injury sitting out. We'll see how things go. He probably is just a placeholder. But, man, what a difference a few years makes. Again, 2019, number 2 player in the world, and somewhere in between, I don't know if he got just in his own head or his own ego or he had too many people around him just saying, you're Mr. Unlimited, which is still I have a hard time saying it was so bad. But, something happened to him, and it reminded me that, man, anybody can lose a locker room very quickly, or things can get to you pretty, they always say money doesn't change you, it exposes you. I don't know if that's what happened here. I don't know what happened to him, but damn it, he used to be my guy, and now I watch him, I'm like, oh my God, please go retire. On the other side of the token, though, we have a new kid coming in Chicago, and it kind of reminds me a little bit, and that's how I'm connecting the two. Caleb Williams has got some weirdness in him. He's an odd duck, and he's the new chosen one. Corey hit this for me here, as I'm going to call it. Is he Chicago barely? See what I did, pun intended. But is he really? Because he's supposed to be. Look, according to all the reports, most of y'all know this, especially NFL fans. Excuse me. Caleb Williams is supposed to be that one, the savior, the greatest, the new hot thing, the most hyped number 1 overall quarterback pick since Trevor Lawrence, Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, John Elway. It's a short list of dudes that have been this hyped and this much just guaranteed that, like, this guy is going to be the next big thing. And look, they're doing everything around him. They revamped the O-line completely. I mean, the Bears have really, again, they've kind of already made room because the savior's coming. Like, they're just, we got him. We got him at 1. We're going off to win the Super Bowl in the next year or two. We're going to revamp our O-line. We've added wide receivers like Allen Moore, Odunze. We drafted Odunze at 10. And somehow a team that's been 16-35 in the last 3 seasons is suddenly just like fired up. They haven't won a playoff game. They haven't won a wild card game in 12 seasons. They got this one kid, and suddenly the world is right, and everything's going to be amazing. They're on Hard Knocks now on HBO Max, which I totally, I always love people to watch Hard Knocks, get behind the scenes, and I'm really going to watch it this year to get a feel for this kid. But obviously, thanks to the Texans maybe last year with C.J. Stroud, who was the 5th rookie ever to throw for 4,000 yards, they think like, oh, he's going to be better than C.J. I mean, he's higher rated. He's higher hyped. He's, more higher graded by Mel Kiper or whoever the hell else than C.J. Stroud, and C.J. was able to take the Texans from 3-13 to 10-7. They won a playoff game. Why can't we? And, I mean, the NFC, some people say is up for grabs. I'll throw this in as just an aside. I think y'all are a little bit – football fans are funny. Y'all forget a lot, and you overreact a lot. So the idea that the NFC is up for grabs, and like a team like Chicago, who again was 3-13 because they added some wide receivers and a rookie quarterback who I'm going to get into has some funkiness to him besides all his talent. I mean, look, the 49ers do have their situation with Ayuk, but they're going to trade him. I've heard for Amari Cooper is a possibility. I think that's a win-win. And again, the 49ers are still pretty damn good. Philly in second for NFC favorites. You know, they added Saquon Barkley, and that's huge. That's a big deal. Saquon Barkley is still in his prime and is a bad mother effer on a team that was 10-1 before they went on their 6-7 slide at the end of the season. So I think Philly should be all right. The Lions, what did the Lions do other than kick ass last year? They got a great head coach. They got their quarterback there. They need to revamp their secondary, but I mean, they're still the Detroit Lions. And the Packers, we'll find out if Jordan Love is actually the real deal or not. And, I mean, they don't necessarily have a number one wide receiver. But still, I got 49ers, Philly, Lions, and Packers as all very good teams. The idea that the Chicago Bears can come all the way from 3-13 and be able to do what C.J. Stroud and the Texans did in a much tougher division, by the way. Their division is much tougher than the AFC South was for the Texans last year. And because of Caleb Williams, who... I don't know. I don't know if he fits in Chicago. The Chicago, teams have identities, cities have identities, and it's been discussed by others, and I'm watching Hard Knocks with my eyes wide because I kind of agree. I mean, this kid comes in, he's got the painted nails, and, I mean, is that a huge deal? No. I mean, they did say his mom's a nail technician, so that's probably where that comes from, is that's bonding time with mom. But, I mean, there he is with this pink iPhone. I remember this made the big thing, pink iPhone, pink nails. He shows weird character things. Like before he had his bad time at USC, he was like, if I get drafted number one, I'm going to be the first athlete. I want equity. I want actually equity into the team, into my contract, which has never happened before. Most people remember, he lost to Notre Dame. And I mean, I know it's upsetting, but he like ran and cried to his mom and they had to like cover him up. Look, there's nothing wrong with having a little, like flash and color to you. There's nothing wrong with being a mama's boy as far as in life. But when you're the leader of the Chicago Bears and you're the NFL, messiah, so to speak, look, it didn't. The second year at USC did not go as planned. And so I cannot ignore that. The idea that he didn't do that well in college, but suddenly he's going to take that 7-5 record, which I know the defense, USC's defense was just that was the only reason they lost. But I mean, they went from 11-3 to 7-5. But his numbers went down, too. It's not like he was back to his Heisman year where he had 42 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Last year, he only had 30 touchdowns, and he had 11 interceptions, so 12 less touchdowns and doubled his INTs. And they were 7-5, and he's crying to his mom, and I want equity in this, and da-da-da-da-da, and look at my painted nails and my pink phone, and I'm going to be kind of... I don't know. It's early. It's not the end of the world. But like I said, to me, quarterbacks are politicians. They need to lead a locker room of a lot of tough dudes who, looking at a rookie who's making more money than them. And that's another thing. You kind of, I don't know. He's supposedly like a real happy-go-lucky kid, kind of jovial and silly. And I think that endears you to people, but kind of in the LeBron-esque, like, I don't know sometimes if it's better to act like everyone's best friend or kind of a father figure. To me, the great leaders are more like, you joke with your buddies, but when dad said to do something, that's what you did. Whether that's mom or dad in your life is irrelevant. But you know what I mean? That authority figure of like, they may not be able to join you for every dinner. They might not understand every joke. But when it's time to get stuff done, they're the ones who say, look, you better do this and you have to follow. To me, that's what a quarterback in that political position comes with. So I'm watching Hard Knocks. I like Caleb. I have nothing against Caleb personally. And he was having some back and forth with their new coach and stuff, but I thought this was cute. So, again, go watch Hard Knocks, but I'll pop this up. This was just a cute thing. They were doing their rookie hazing, and so they had Caleb come up. And you can kind of get a feel for Caleb's personality. They jokingly boo him here, but hit it for me.
Caleb Williams went to USC in Oklahoma. Horns down still. Fight on. Yeah. And my signing bonus is 25.5.
I love the kid's reaction, the rookie here. Oh, 25. See, he's kind of silly.
So let's do the thing.
So now it's his time to rookie hazing. They got to sing.
Yeah. Come on now. Be quiet for him. Come on.
They do it every year. But he forgets the words.
This ain't no honeymoon.
Ah, boo. Boo, boo, Wendy Testerberger. Yeah, they try to put him up there for him. But at this point, the crowd's lost. He's done.
You don't have to be able to carry a tune to carry a team. Caleb Williams knows his job, and he's working to get better at it.
I left that last part in because that's important. You may not know how to have to carry a tune to carry a team, but does he know how to carry a team? And I'm making a lot out of a behind-the-scenes HBO show that's going to take clips and put them how they want together. This is obviously just a silly rookie hazing thing. But, again, to reiterate everything, this kid is supposed to be the second coming. He's supposed to be the next best thing we've seen since, Luck, Elway, or Manning, and he's supposed to be a guaranteed game changer. The entire organization, who's had no success for a while now, has put in, money and trades, and they're investing, and everyone's excited. This is a Chicago place that really, supports toughness and grit. It's one of those cities, man. They're not, a San Francisco or a Los Angeles or, the one of these cities that's they're more blue collar, whatever you want to call it. That's just how they get down. So the painted nails, pink phone, crying to his mom kid who's kind of silly I don't know. I don't know if I'm overreacting because we're all excited for NFL season, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. Watch Hard Knocks along with me. I think too many people ignore that show that are true football fans because I see a nice kid. I don't know if a nice kid's going to get it done. And if you go by what happened last year at USC, he didn't get it done there. He wasn't able to lead there, and that's even, that's a whole different thing. Now he's got grown-ass men. He's making more money. It's hard. It's a hard knock life for a quarterback. See how it goes. Last thing, and then I have to go ahead and call it. So, last week, because like I said, football season is back, and everyone was excited. Fantasy football is always a big thing, so I came up with the most not safe for work fantasy football names, and I want to, that went well. So what happened was you guys gave me a bunch of comments, and so I was able to redo. So now I have two of them. But in case you missed it, so I can kind of just get people, in case you don't want to go back and find my old podcast, which you can, by the way, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, just go ahead and search all that. But for last week, this was the clip I did. So again, with fantasy football coming up, I was like, all right, what are the most fun names? Because this is always one of the most fun things to do is try to come up with a silly team name for your fantasy team. So this was my top 5 with honorable mentions. Corey, roll it for me. I'm giving you a trigger warning. We're going to start slow, and then we're going to get progressively worse. Let's get into the first one. At 5th place, Tua Girls, 1 cup. Shout out to Tua Tagliavoe and his 4-year, $212 million extension. As you see him there eating a big plate of chocolate ice cream. Stewie seemed bothered by that. Not too bad honorable mentions included Najee Germany, touchdown syndrome. I put it in Herbert, nuts all over your face, and Adrian Peterson daycare. Someone watch the switch out there. In 4th place for me, we have Step Burrow, I'm Stuck. Shout out to Joe Burrow and his new Slim Shady haircut. And step sisters and moms just keep getting stuck in beds and washing machines. Good thing he's got a lot of time behind center. These are getting a little worse. Honorable mentions. We got Coop Cup's Clan. Nigba Please. Got to make sure I say that right. 1A Kareem Pie. DeMartiac Arrest. Don't touch down there, and Rodgers Vax Dodgers. DeMartiac Arrest is brutal because of the whole DeMar Hamlin and the heart attack. But so, like I said, we're starting to creep into it a little bit. Number 3, Watson's Towel. You could also do What's Under My Towel. I think this is at least kind of towing the line because technically on all those 22 allegations, he did not get actually charged with any of them criminally, although you get accused of something 22 times. You probably did that shit. Now we're getting bad. These are the tough ones here. Ruggs Riders, Jesus Christ. Sandy Hook and Ladder. She was Haskins for it. Google why that's an interesting one. And then another Haskins, Dwayne's Trains and Automobiles, based, of course, off Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Dwayne was hit by it. All right, anyway, so at number 2 in worst fantasy football names you can come up with, I have Hanging with Hernandez. Now, I thought this was actually kind of fun. I thought this actually kind of sounds like a 90s sitcom. And again, he was given life without parole for murder, so I don't feel that bad for it. So that is probably the second to worst one I heard you can come up with is Hanging with Hernandez. But the top one, the worst or not safe for work fantasy football name you can have this year on your team is Who Killed Charbonnet Ramsey, named, of course, after Zach Charbonnet. And actually, he's a fantasy sleeper himself, so keep an eye on Charbonnet. But yes, who killed Charbonnet Ramsey? Absolutely savage. Jesus Christ. The internet is just never missed since Al Gore invented it in 1983. But there you go. Top fantasy football names you can come up with. You're welcome. All right, so that was last week's episode, so I put that up, and apparently y'all decided you could top it. I had so many comments of people going like, what about this one, what about that one? I said, you know what, let's bring it back then. I'm giving this one to everyone that gave me some suggestion or advice, so now I got a new one for you. This is going to be the commenters edition of the most not safe for work fantasy football team names you can come up with. Corey, if you can hit this video here for me. So once again, like I said, we're going to come with a trigger warning. Go ahead and play it. I don't want to hear any nonsense. This is going to get from, not so bad to worse. And again, this is coming from y'all. These were all comments that were given to me, all these team names for not safe for work fantasy football names, so don't blame me. In 5th place, last time I had Tua Girls 1 Cup, y'all came up with Hot Tua on that thing. That's newer, that's more relevant. I feel like that'll actually get kind of overblown, that Hawk Tua thing, and congratulations, she's made a bunch of money. Honorable mentions, y'all didn't get too bad with these. McAfrican Americans, the Riley Reid option, It Hurts When I Fart, Touch of the Downs, Favre dollar foot long, as we found out from the picture, it's not even close to a foot long, Gruden's emails, and Adrian Beetserson instead of Peterson. That's cute. In 4th place, y'all came up with My Dig's Tiny. That's not that offensive. That's actually just a funny play on words, but I still enjoy. I like clever. So the ones I gave awards to, I wanted a more clever one, so My Dig's Tiny, which is also why I went with Singletary's Dingleberries, which is a clever rhyme. But also, if you think about it, to me, Mike Singletary, that crazy face he used to make all the time, maybe it's because, got some dingleberries down there, you might be wide-eyed too. So I like that as a twofold. It rhymed and it was kind of clever. These are effed up, and y'all came up with these. Mike Vick's Dog Kennel. Kraft's Massage Parlor. Sandusky's Daycare is not just terrible, it's college, so I don't know if I should even count that. Raw Dog and Young Ho's Coup, you have to add Amon Ra and Young Ho for that to happen. Hitting Rugs, Rugs Auto, and Mixing It Up in the Bar. Joe Mixon and his girlfriend in the bar. These are just, y'all are savage for these ones here. And Sandusky's Daycare I almost want to take out because that's college, that's not even NFL. But man, those are pretty rough. And then in 2nd place, finger painting with J. Pierre Paul. And the guy even commented and said, but the funniest part of it was that they had the Ninja Turtle compared, because when he blew his hand off, that hand looks like a Ninja Turtle hand. I'm not going to lie. But the most clever, the most offensive, not safe for work fantasy football name the commenters came up with, and this one was just, again, savage. Beats by Ray. Ow! God bless it, internet. Beats by Ray instead of Beats by Dre. Ha because he beat her. Again, I didn't do it, so if y'all get kicked out of your league for that name, don't get mad at me. Once again, the internet, number one, never missed since Al Gore invented it in 1983. So that's the not safe for work fantasy football names given to all me by the commenter, so thank you very much. Beats by Ray, whoever said that, you need therapy. I need to go. So I'm out. I love you. I'll talk to you next time.